Hello guys, welcome back to the Brutal Investor channel. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day today. In this episode, we're going to cover a cryptocurrency that is currently available on CoinMarketCap's Earn program, and this token is called REV token or the REVV token, right? Again, as always guys, I highly recommend you guys to do your research on any of the projects that we cover on our channel. If you want to access their website, you can go to CoinMarketCap and then search for REVV, REV token. And then if you go to links, they have links to their websites, explorers and socials, which will help you to do your own research on this project, right? So in order to explain what REV is, I'm going to basically use CoinMarketCap's explanation at the bottom to provide you with a brief explanation of what this token is. So REV is basically the main utility token and in-game currency for branded motorsports blockchain game titles produced by Animoca brands such as the F1 Delta Time blockchain game platform and a title based on the MotoGP motorsport intellectual property. So if you take a REV token, it is actually a utility token of an in-game currency for a blockchain based motorsports game platform which is basically produced by Animoca brands, as well as it's kind of based on MotoGP and all these motorsports. So if you're really into those kind of games, then REV is probably a project that you will like, right? So a third racing game project will be announced in the near future. So they have basically made two motorsport based gaming or F1 based gaming, and they're basically planning to have a third racing game in the near future, right? The motorsport experiences provided in the F1 Delta Time and MotoGP games will be connected by a shared economy made possible by the REV token. So REV token acts as this connecting link between these three games. Again, two of them are already released and the third one will be available in the future, but REV is basically acting as this main token that binds these three games, right? The REV token is designed to be the currency of purchase, utility and action in F1 Delta Time and MotoGP, with potential application toward additional future titles. Again, as they basically mentioned here, right, the REV token is solely designed with the purpose of acting as this in-game currency that will facilitate several benefits within the two main games, F1 Delta Time as well as MotoGP. These are the two main games, and also with potential to kind of be added to the third game as well as every other future game that is produced by Animoca brands, right? So REV is designed to leverage the blockchain assets concept of interoperability, wherein a token can be utilized across multiple connected products. So they're basically trying to use the concept of interoperability, blockchain interoperability, and apply it to the REV tokens in such a way that this token can act as a product on multiple different connected blockchain based products, right? Such as these three games that we are talking about. Having one utility token for multiple game titles offers various benefits to players and game publishers and will encourage players to explore the other games that are part of this connected ecosystem, and has the additional potential benefit that any content or tokens could increase in utility as the larger token ecosystem expands. So again, one of the main reasons they want to have REV as this common utility token is because of the fact that if you're using, let's say, one of these two games, which is basically, let's say you're using MotoGP, right? By using MotoGP, you will basically be using the Rev token within the game, and by getting exposure to Rev token, you will basically have the opportunity to explore this other game as well, which is basically F1 Delta Time, where you can use the same Rev tokens for multiple other utilities within the other game as well, right? So this Rev token will act as an interoperable token for several games, which will connect users in this kind of like multi-chain, multi-product based environment, right? And another benefit, additional potential benefit that they're basically stating for the Rev token is tokens could increase in utility as a larger token ecosystem expands. So when you're using a particular token for a particular game, you're only providing utilizing the token for utility within that particular game, right? But by using this concept of interoperable token usage as Rev is doing, you will basically be able to expand the utility of the token and make it more valuable, right? So that's something that I feel like is a very unique value proposition by Rev, and that's probably going to be well received by people who like F1 as well as MotoGP, right? So I think this small short read of projects that are present in the CoinMarketCap's list is sufficient to provide a peripheral understanding of these tokens, right? But I also highly recommend you guys to do some in-depth research before you put any of your money on this token, right? So with that note, let's go to their website, which is revmotorsport.com, and you'll be able to access everything about this project, right? So right off the bat, they have an information on the top of their website that says Sand NFT redemption available. So again, as you see, since this token is acting as a utility token for motorsports games, there's also an NFT component for this platform as well, right? So that's something that we'll be noticing quite a lot on their website. So moving on, you can basically see that they're asking you to purchase Rev tokens right off the bat by providing you with the link and saying that you can basically play on this game right now. So it is kind of like a good marketing strategy to lure customers, but at the same time it will be useful for them to provide information first about what their project does instead of just asking people to buy their tokens, right? But moving on, if you see get Rev now and enter the world of blockchain motorsport today. So again, they're basically inviting people to buy their token as well as participate in their motorsport ecosystem by clicking the Play Now button. You can obviously see that this token is an ERC20 token because it's available on Etherscan. You can also display Rev in MetaMask directly by clicking on this button, which will provide easy access for this token in your wallet rather than you trying to find its contract address and manually entering it, right? So that's a pretty cool feature that they have on their website right off the bat. If you see, they're also making it easier for people to buy their Rev token by integrating like Uniswap on their website itself, and you can also see the price of Rev token per ETH. You can basically purchase about 27,561.6 Rev tokens per ETH. So again, it's kind of like overwhelming for customers who don't really know about this token to see everything that is pushing them to buy this token, which is something that I feel like they should have probably like made it a bit more smoother, because they should have obviously provided some information of what Rev is and what it does before they provide all these features, right? But nonetheless, it is good in a way that they are trying to onboard people to buy their tokens, with all these features available on their website directly, right? So again, you can also see some cool graphics in the background, but you can see that they are partnered with a very popular project called the Sandbox, which also we covered in our channel before. It was available as a launchpad token on Binance. So NFT redemption starts. Check your earnings, redeem REDP tokens and sand NFTs now. So again, there are so many different terms and different other tokens that are available, which people who held these tokens or participated in some NFTs will be able to redeem, right? So if you feel overwhelmed with these kind of random words and tokens being thrown around, just don't worry about it. I think this is for people who have already participated in some of their token, some of their token purchases or some of their NFT purchases in the past, right? But if you see, Rev has basically is working with Undone Watch, and they are basically like having their own brand on their watches. Rev enters physical collectibles, 30 unique redeemable watch NFTs auctioned for a total of 556,000 Rev tokens. Again, so we'll look at the price of the Rev tokens shortly on CoinMarketCap, but it seems like they have sold actual watches which represent a NFT, which is like again here they mentioned it's 30 unique NFTs, which means there's 30 unique watches, like limited time I believe, that was basically auctioned for a total of 556,000 Rev tokens, which you can obviously learn more here by clicking on this learn more link. So play to earn. Each of the Rev pools exist to serve a primary need for the F1 Delta Time ecosystem. But this allocation is not a cap, as Rev can be circulated into and out of F1 Delta Time through utility and also earned in other future titles. So again, as we saw before, they're mainly involved with two major motorsport projects, and one of those projects is F1 Delta Time, which has its own ecosystem, and Rev basically acts as a utility token for that project as well as the MotoGP project as well, right? So here they are basically stating that the allocation is not a cap, as Rev can be circulated into and out of F1 Delta Time. So that's something that you need to bear in mind. The allocation is, the token allocation doesn't have a cap, I believe, within the F1 Delta ecosystem, and therefore can be circulated into and out of the Delta F1 Delta Time ecosystem, right? Through utility and also earned in future titles. So you can earn Rev tokens by playing the F1 Delta Time game and many other games that will be added to this ecosystem, right? So again, this is a quick overview of how the game itself kind of looks like. Time trial, test your track knowledge and the entire range of your garage as you face off against other players for the fastest time. Again, basically you will be competing with other players in order to see who's the fastest racer. Grand Prix, your F1 Delta Time collection and your driving skills are put to test in a fully interactive action racing game experience. So if you're into racing and F1 kind of racing games, you can also participate in their Grand Prix, which will basically provide you an opportunity to showcase your skills and in return earn some Rev tokens, right? Staking, leverage your car ownership by staking them and earning Rev in return. So you can basically have these unique cars that you may be able to own in the form of NFTs, which you can basically stake on their staking platform in order to earn Rev tokens, right? Track ownership, collect Rev dividends from every race by becoming a track owner. So if you don't want to actually be a racer, but you want to be a person who wants to own tracks on which the races would happen, you can just be a track owner, and whenever there's a race on your track, I believe you will be able to earn dividends from some of the fees that's paid by other users, or by just being a track owner you will be able to earn some Rev tokens passively, right? So again, several unique gamification use cases within this platform, which you guys can test out by linking your MetaMask account with this dApp. If you see the total supply, there is 3 billion tokens in total supply for this REV token. Initial allocation, REV has been pre-allocated to the first titles that will provide utility to the token, which includes F1 Delta Time and MotoGP. For the future titles, allocation will come from the REV reserve. So if you see, as we discussed, they are basically being used as utility token for two major games, F1 Delta Time as well as MotoGP, right? So REV token has been pre-allocated to the first titles that will provide utility to the token. So they are basically pre-allocated already to these two games, and in the future, if REV plans to be the utility token for several other games, it will the new REV tokens for that particular game will come from the REV reserve, right? So in total, there is basically 3 billion tokens, and amongst that, you can clearly see that 500 million, which is basically 17%, is allocated to F1 Delta Time, which is the major game, and the second highest is again, I think the second 13% of the token is allocated to the second game. 400 million tokens, which is basically 13%, is allocated to MotoGP. The reserve contains 1.3 billion, 1.3 billion, which is 43.3% of the total supply will be allocated to future games. And if you see the team and advisors, they have 300 million in total, which is 10%. Initial DEX offerings, there was about 250 million tokens, about 8.33% of the total supply was allocated as initial DEX offerings. And then player reward reserve. So if you play the game and participate in the ecosystem, you will be able to earn a small share of the 250 million tokens that's allocated, which is about 8.33% as well, right? So again, somewhat of a fair distribution, and the reserve fund is only going to be getting lower and lower as the project partner with multiple other game projects, right? F1 Delta Time is allocated 500 million REV, with the REV being split in 4 primary REV pools. So in F1 Delta itself, the 500 million REV tokens are split in 4 ways. So amongst the within the 500 million tokens in the F1 Delta game, you can clearly see that about 50% is allocated to game operations, 6% is allocated for staking, 40% is reserve. Again, this reserve is within the F1 Delta platform itself, and 4% is allocated for promotion and marketing, right? So again, pretty interesting dynamics or token distribution within the game itself. So if you want to get REV tokens, which we'll cover in a little bit more detail, you can basically buy it from Uniswap, which is a decentralized exchange on Ethereum, KuCoin, which is a popular centralized exchange for exotic cryptocurrencies, Bithumb Global, which is a popular Korean exchange, Who, you can get it from Bilaxi, Mooniswap, Buybox, SushiSwap, Chiliz, Latoken, MXC, Bittrex, Gate.io, Hotbit, and Paraswap. Again, a lot of varieties of decentralized as well as centralized exchanges offer REV tokens, and I do believe that this token has a high potential of being listed on Binance pretty soon, and that's one of the reasons why they're probably offering some form of learn and earn kind of offer on CoinMarketCap, right? So again, if you scroll below on the website, you can see some of the news updates that they have for F1 Delta Time. Again, you can also see some of the NFTs and some kind of contests. The graphics is pretty good, and you can kind of participate in races across the world. You can even own tracks within these countries, I believe. So that's pretty interesting. So you can clearly see some of the advisors here if you want to find them on LinkedIn to see what other projects they are involved in. This is also an opportunity to kind of like track their other projects, right? Again, this is the team members as well, so you can obviously follow them on their social media. Animoca Brands is basically the parent company, I believe, for these games, and you can read more about them and what they have done, which is a very inspiring kind of like company that has multiple different projects going on, and these are some of the people who support this game. I don't know if they are actually investors or if they're just partners, but I believe they're most likely partners. So they're also partnered with one of the popular names, Atari, which is also a popular gaming platform, right? So if you want to read their light paper, which I highly recommend, you can go to the website and find it here. If you have any specific questions that you want to ask, you have their email ID, which you can use to ask questions. If you go to the top left corner, you can see the game, you can see sand, you can also see the token itself. So it's a pretty interesting project which gamifies racing, which has chosen a very niche kind of industry, which is gaming, and especially MotoGP gaming, right, which is also an even more niche kind of like audience. So people who are interested in this game or who want to try it out, or even who just want to own some form of tracks on this game, instead of actually participating in the game itself, you can also do that, right? Or if you just want to be an investor and not even participate in the ecosystem, you can just buy their tokens, again obviously after doing your own research, and then hodling it for short term or long term, whichever you feel is fit, right? So I just want to show the learn and earn page for CoinMarketCap, which was where I came across this project. The campaign is currently live and you can participate in it. You just need to basically read the information and kind of like answer questions. If you get all the answers correct, you would basically have to link your MetaMask account to this page, and if you get all the answers correct, you will potentially win $5 of this token if you answer all these questions correctly. And it's very competitive, and mostly a lot of people get involved in the very early stages. So if you want to win a small amount of REV tokens, you can participate. There's only 8 days left, right? So again, it's basically coinmarketcap.com/earn, and you can search for REV and it'll be available there, right? So let's go to the CoinMarketCap page for REV token. This token is currently ranked 631st by market cap on CoinMarketCap, and it's currently trading at 8 cents per token with a 4.1% increase in the past 24 hours. I believe that the token price has been going up decently because of the CoinMarketCap's Earn program launch, which has probably made several people, including myself, speculate that this project is potentially going to be listed on Binance, and that's why people are buying this token. At least a small decent bag of this token is probably being bought, which is reflecting on the price. If you take the market cap, it's an extremely low market cap project. It's less than $50 million in market cap. As of time of making this video, it's only $24 million in market cap, not even $30 million. So still very early project, a lot of potential to grow. I think this token can easily cross $100 million in market cap in a few months. You can also see the volume being pretty low as well, which indicates that this is not a very popular token, and not a lot of people are there is a very small group of people who are fans of F1 racing, MotoGP, and so on and so forth. So I would really not be surprised if this project were to be moving sideways because of its very niche audience that it's choosing. But there may be more interest from people who just like to play games in general, or people who like to hodl tokens like this, right? If you see the max supply, obviously we saw it was 3 billion, and the total supply is also 3 billion. But if you see the circulating supply, there's only 278 million tokens, which is about 9% of the total supply. Again, as we just saw right now, the token is allocated between different games. So overall, this token really, the token survival depends on the success of these platforms, because this is the main utility token for those platforms. And if nobody uses those games or platforms, then this token will really not have a lot of value appreciation, right? So that's something that you need to bear in mind. It is definitely considered as a very risky project. I would definitely do like extensive research before putting any other money on this token, right? If you take a look at the charts, you can clearly see that the token has pumped and it's kind of like in the downward trajectory right now. If you take the price point that's available on CoinMarketCap, the earliest price point is available since September 10th of last year, when the token price was worth 1 cent per token. It was pretty much moving sideways and not really doing a lot, maybe going slightly on the upward trajectory of about 6 to 7 cents by early February this year, when this token actually started pumping from 7 cents all the way till all-time highs of about 60 cents, right? Which is pretty much of a crazy pump indeed, and it was basically at its all-time highs late March this year, and then it was slowly crumbling down, reaching a lows of about 20 cents. Had a decent bit of volatility before crashing down to its price point of about kind of like 11 cents or even less than 11 cents sometimes. But since then it's been moving downwards and sideways, and it's been trading at 8 cents, although it has some really small pumps and volatility. This token can kind of like go down even further, because I feel like this token is very hard to like find, and a lot of people don't really know a lot about F1 racing or the MotoGP or platforms like these even exist. So this token may not necessarily have a huge pump in the upcoming future, but I think over the long term this token can definitely go up in value, right? If you look at the Bitcoin comparative, which is basically the bottom, you can clearly see that the Bitcoin comparative has been quite volatile as well. The token was worth less than 1 Satoshi mid September last year. It was moving up and down with decent bit of volatility, but pretty much moving sideways until early February, when this token was worth 177 Satoshis. But at the end of March, it was worth at its all-time highs, it was worth 1000 Satoshis, right? So after that it kind of like crashed back down. Now currently the price of one token is 229 Satoshis. So I think if you want to buy this token at this price point for both dollar comparative as well as Bitcoin comparative, then I think it is a decent buy opportunity. Although I do expect this token to kind of break the 8.5 cent range and even go below the 8 cent mark, right, which is a high possibility. So again, some good opportunities to buy, but again, it is an extremely risky project with low volume and not a lot of people know about this project. So you might want to be looking at the long-term picture and deciding whether this project is good to hold long-term, because for the short term I think the price will be moving either sideways or be dumping a little bit, right? So that's something that you need to bear in mind. So if you take the markets, right, this token is, as we discussed, it's available on several centralized and decentralized exchanges. You can basically buy it with wrapped Ethereum, as well as you can buy it with Sand on Uniswap. You can also get it with Tower, which is another exotic altcoin. If you want to buy it from a centralized exchange, you can basically buy it from Gate.io or KuCoin, which are some of the most popular exchanges, at least in the tier 1 or tier 2 exchanges, right? But I wouldn't really recommend any other exchange. You can also get it from MXC, Who.com, but I think the volume may be even more lower there compared to Gate.io and KuCoin, right? So what's my final verdict on this token? I do feel like this token has a potential to be listed on Binance very soon, because of how unique the value proposition is for this project. Its interoperable nature when it comes to multiple different games is also pretty evident, and it's also available on CoinMarketCap's Earn program, which is something that makes me feel like this project can get a Binance listing pretty soon, right? But that doesn't mean that you should YOLO win on this project without doing your own research. I think this project has some really specific niche which is targeting, and if it goes well, I think this project will definitely go up in value. But one of the main hurdles is its extremely high total supply, which means even though this token is kind of diversified as a utility token for multiple different platforms, I think there will be a point where people who are receiving this token as staking rewards will dump it and kind of like maybe slump the price for the short term. But if you are having a long term mindset for this, it can easily cross its previous all-time highs very soon, right? I think the 60 cent or 65 cents mark was probably the all-time highs for this token, which will easily be breached, not only in the dollar comparator but also in the Bitcoin comparator as well, right? So again, remember guys, you guys are not regular investors, you guys are brutal investors, so stay brutal. Thank you very much for watching my video guys. If you like my video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more videos. See you in my next video. Bye.